epic sight was the 405 freeway in Los Angeles Tuesday night. It's a highway infamous for gridlock, but nothing ever like this. From the air, it looks almost beautiful. But don't tell that to anyone caught up in this nightmare who went on social media to vent their frustration. Are you sure that's traffic? Maybe they decorated the 405 with Christmas lights. And this, it's called the 405 for a reason. It takes you 405 hours to get anywhere. Headlines describe the traffic horror, world's worst traffic jam, and epic jam terrorizes LA. This dude posted videos stopping and starting, stopping and starting. It went on forever. Motorists tried their best to stay calm and pass the time. For one young lady, singing a Christmas song helps her deal with the stress. If only everyone could have heard her.
And we have roads with potholes in the middle of the highways. We have airports that are obsolete. We have the worst transportation system and train system. In China, they have trains that go 250 miles an hour. Over here, if the train goes more than 60, it's like collision territory. And we see it all the time. We've got to start rebuilding this country. We've got to rebuild our country.
Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry reports on President-elect Trump's plan to make riding in planes, trains, and automobiles easier and safer. The question is, what's the price tag?
President-elect Donald Trump's new economic team is promising to create 20 million new jobs over 10 years, in large part by pushing legislation that would lower the tax to 10% for companies like Apple that are willing to repatriate profits from overseas, which the government would then pour into rebuilding America's crumbling infrastructure.
We think there's going to be hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars that's going to come back, and that's going to create infrastructure and create jobs.
And nominating Elaine Chao as Transportation Secretary, the wife of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, may smooth passage of Mr. Trump's infrastructure plan.
I think we can see a 1 to 2% GDP improvement over the next 5 to 10 years if these plans are put into effect. And again, if we can cut the cost of goods, materials, and service by moving them more efficiently, that's money in all of our pockets, and that will reduce prices, not increase them.
Except conservatives have heard this tune before from President Obama.
Shovel-ready projects. Shovel-ready projects.
Who later admitted his massive $831 billion stimulus bill did not quite pan out as promised.
Shovel-ready was not as shovel-ready as we expected.
And during the first presidential debate, Mr. Trump suggested he was okay with further running up the national debt to pay for it.
You know, it's one thing to have $20 trillion in debt, and our roads are good, and our bridges are good, and everything's in great shape. Our airports are like from a third world country.
Yet Mr. Trump's Commerce Secretary-designate, Wilbur Ross, insisted they're looking at plans to make sure the debt does not further balloon.
The taxes on the wages of the people completing the infrastructure and the profits of the companies building it will more than offset the tax credits to investors.
京終点東京に到着です。車内には忘れ物、落とし物ございませんようご注意ください。下りのエスカレーター到着しました車両7号車と9号車付近、エレベーター10号車付近にございます。どうぞご利用ください。